my peaceful lakefront, and the HOA president who went too far. My name is David Harper. I'm a retired electrical engineer, and 3 years ago I moved to a quiet lakeside neighborhood called Cypress Ridge Estates. What drew me in was the small, private stretch of shoreline that came with my property. It wasn't huge, just about 40 feet, but it was legally mine, included in the deed I signed. Most mornings I'd sit with a coffee on my deck and watch the sunrise over Lake Persimmon. Peaceful, quiet, just how I liked it. That peace ended the day I met Patricia Kellerman. Patricia had been the HOA president for 8 straight years, mainly because no one else wanted the job. But she didn't see it as a burden. She treated it more like a throne. Rules, approvals, warnings. She loved being in charge. Trouble started when I came home one day and saw a teenager doing donuts on a jet ski, launching off my dock. When I told him to leave, he laughed and said, "Aunt Patty says this is for the community now." Aunt Patty turned out to be none other than Patricia Kellerman. At the next HOA meeting, I confronted her. She smiled and calmly explained that she had reviewed the original plans from 1972 and decided that the lakefront should be shared for the good of the neighborhood. I showed her my deed, which clearly stated that the beach area was part of my property. She waved it off like a grocery receipt. The following weekend, I found a man setting up an outdoor kitchen on my lawn. Grill, lights, the whole setup. When I asked him to leave, he showed me a laminated card titled Kellerman Family Lake Access Pass, complete with Patricia's HOA seal. I called the police, but he was gone before they arrived. That's when I installed the fence. A clean, white, 6-foot vinyl fence. HOA compliant, with written approval from the vice president, Tom Chen, who I'd helped fix his garage door a few weeks prior. Within hours of it going up, Patricia arrived with what she called her advisory committee, her sister, cousin, and a woman I later learned was her hairdresser. They took pictures, measured distances, and looked at my property like they were about to stage a land reclamation project. That evening, Patricia sent an HOA-wide email with the subject, "Urgent, theft of community resources in progress." She compared my fence to the Berlin Wall and included a badly photoshopped image of guard towers and barbed wire. Some neighbors forwarded it to me, laughing. Others were genuinely confused. Things got worse. I started receiving violation notices, 14 of them in 1 week. The offenses ranged from disrupting neighborhood harmony to blocking historical access routes. Patricia also took to social media, claiming I was hoarding community land and destroying the neighborhood's family-friendly atmosphere. She dug up old photos from the 70s of families having picnics near the lake, photos that were actually taken at the public beach 2 miles away. Facts didn't seem to matter to her. Then came the permits. Patricia had begun issuing fake lake access passes to her extended family and selling them. Suddenly, I had strangers showing up claiming they had official permission to use my dock, my beach, even my lawn. One day, there was a volleyball net across my yard. Another day, someone was leading a yoga class on my dock. I had enough. I installed security cameras and began documenting everything. Trespassers, fake permits, late-night entries. One night, the footage showed Patricia herself cutting the lock on my gate at 2 a.m. and letting in several people. That was the final straw. I hired a property law attorney. He reviewed everything. My deed, Patricia's permits, the HOA rules, and laughed. Not only were the documents fake, but she'd been selling them for $50 each. The money wasn't reported to the HOA. It went straight into her pocket. My lawyer sent cease and desist letters to Patricia and everyone using the permits. Patricia's next move? She tried to retroactively pass a resolution at an emergency HOA meeting, giving herself authority to redistribute private lakefront property for community purposes. Even her usually quiet board members pushed back. Then she crossed the legal line. Patricia filed a fraudulent correction at the county recorder's office, attempting to shrink my property line to exclude the beach area. She forged my signature on the form. That's not just an HOA issue. That's federal. The FBI showed up on a sunny morning while Patricia was hosting another unauthorized beach party on my land. 2 agents walked past a bounce house and served her with a warrant. I watched from my kitchen window with my coffee. They searched her home office and found everything. Fake permits, ledgers showing over $10,000 in sales, emails referring to the scheme as Operation Lakefront Liberation. She had even started a proposal to the city to turn my property into a public easement using those fake historical documents as evidence. She had promised permanent dock spots and jet ski slips to various family members once her plan succeeded. The HOA called an emergency meeting. This time, the room was packed. Residents who had stayed silent finally spoke up. The board voted unanimously to remove her. Even her staunchest supporters had nothing to say in her defense. 3 months later, Patricia was in federal court. She was charged with wire fraud, mail fraud, and falsifying government records. Her lawyer called it an overzealous mistake. The prosecutor showed the videos, the forged paperwork, and the fake financials. The judge sentenced her to 18 months in federal prison and ordered her to pay $43,000 in restitution, including my legal fees. The last time I saw her, she was in handcuffs, looking back at me like she still couldn't understand what she had done wrong. Me, I'm back to my peaceful mornings on the deck, coffee in hand, watching the sunrise over my legally owned 40 feet of shoreline. Fence intact, trespassers gone. Sometimes truth is stranger than fiction, and sometimes all it takes to protect what's yours is a good lawyer, a security camera, and a whole lot of patience. Disclaimer: this story is a work of fiction inspired by common neighborhood disputes. Any resemblance to actual persons or events is purely coincidental.